I have alloc and init. Both have return types of ID. But yet in Xcode, the compiler makes all the correct type checks. Now, how is this possible? Okay, it's because in Cocoa there is a convention that methods with names like alloc or init always return the objects that are an instance of receiver class. Whereas a class construct methods, although they have a similar return ID, they don't get the same type checking benefit because they don't follow the naming convention. So let's actually illustrate that using an example. Now I have an example here where I'm allocating an array, I'm initializing an array, and I'm calling media playback allows airplay. We all know that this method has got nothing to do with this NS array. But then immediately the compiler jumps in and tells me that, hey, there is no visible interface for NS array. Whereas when I use NS array media player as a constructor, a class, I just get no error. But the runtime I would get an error, but I would not get an error while compiling it. Because alloc and init follow the same naming convention for being related result type. Now correct type check against NS array is performed in that case, and however the equivalent class constructor of array does not follow the convention. That's why it is interpreted as an ID. So it's not doing a type check. And usually you use ID for opting out of type safety. Now for example, in this case, I have a class called as person, and I have a method which returns an instance type instead of an ID. And the name of the method would be person with name and a string which takes a parameter as a string, that's name. And this is where the compiler steps in to resolve this timeless edge case to the Objective-C type system. With instance type, the compiler will correctly infer the result of person with name, and what I get as a return is an instance of the person. So that's how we ensure the type safety using instance type. Now there are some advantages using this. Now what are these? Actually your code is doing what it says rather than something else, and the second one is you're building a good habit for times, right? The third one is consistency. You have established some consistency in your code which makes it more readable. Okay, so these are three things: explicit, pattern, and consistency. Now moving to the next thing, usage of tint color versus bar tint color. Now Apple extensively used tint in the iOS 7, either when you look at calendars or you look at Notes application, you find an yellow tint on the buttons, or else if you use the contacts, you find a blue tint. Now they've majorly used the tint in most of the applications. So in iOS 7 you can tint your entire app with a given color, or setting the tint color of your app is easy as new property. So a tint color is nothing but a property, as simple as using a tint color to your view. So here I have an example. So in this example I'm actually setting the property of view tint color as red color, and now if you find this quite familiar, you might have used this. In iOS 6 you had bar, you had a tint color to the navigation bar, but now that's been changed to bar tint color. So tint color was there, but that you could use that only on a navigation bar, but now you have it. So you use bar tint color instead of tint color. Now what about this? The texture colors are gone. So you might have seen this texture colors in iOS 6 a lot. Right from when you register the device for the first time, you find this a lot. But right now, these are the methods that were behind this, and these are the methods that are deprecated. So you no longer use this. View flip side background color is deprecated. Scroll view texture background color is deprecated. Under page background color, even that is deprecated. So these are the couple of methods with respect to the texture colors being deprecated in iOS 7. Okay. Another thing that is being deprecated is UI button type system, and we all know that iOS 7 is intended towards a flat design element where you find lots of borderless buttons. So there's no point in writing UI button type round red. So that's being deprecated. And it's been replaced by a new API that is UI button type system. So from now on, we'll be using UI button type system. So with that, we move